I've now been using the new Trade Republic card for the past few weeks, so I wanted to share my experience with all of you. I know a lot of you have been patiently waiting to get it as well, as many of you are already using Trade Republic to buy ETFs or to earn 4% interest per year on cash reserves. We'll be covering all of the card's features, like the 1% Saveback on your purchases using the card, something no other bank in Europe is currently offering, and if there are any fees to be aware of, for example when picking up cash at an ATM or when paying in a different currency. We're even going to compare it to Revolut to see which option comes out on top. You'll of course also find out how everything works in detail and my personal opinion and experience so far after using it every single day for the past 3 weeks. Hopefully, this video will help you figure out if it's worth getting yourself. But before you get right into it, I'd like to clarify that I've not been paid by anyone to make this video. I've never accepted money to mention anything in a video, as I don't do sponsored content out of principle and I have no intention of ever changing that. You guys are not for sale and neither am I. I did, however, receive my card early as a Trade Republic affiliate, and I do receive a small commission if you use my link in the description below to open a Trade Republic account, which is a great way to support me if you'd like to. I just wanted to get that out of the way before we begin. First off, who is Trade Republic in the first place? Trade Republic is a German broker with over 4 million customers in 17 European countries and 35 billion euros in assets under management, strictly regulated by the BaFin and the German Bundesbank, and received its full banking license at the end of last year. Having its own banking license enabled it to issue a payment card, so they were now able to pay for everyday expenses using the cash on our account. A reason why you may want to hold your euros in your account is that Trade Republic currently pays 4% interest per year on up to 50,000 euros worth of uninvested funds secured by a 100,000 euro bank deposit guarantee. Because of that, my wife and I have been using them to earn interest on our own cash reserves, which would otherwise be earning zero on our Austrian bank accounts, with our banks pocketing whatever they earn in interest themselves. Interest is paid out at the start of every single month, meaning it compounds as well. So the annual rate actually ends up being slightly higher at around 4.07% per year right now if you leave the interest you earn on your account as well. Apart from the high interest rate, basically the rate the ECB is paying banks at its deposit facility right now, Trade Republic is one of the best low-cost brokers in Europe for ETFs, stocks and bonds, and has become a second most used broker right after Interactive Brokers. That's because you only pay a flat €1 fee for direct orders, no matter the amount, and no commission whatsoever if you set up a recurring investment, which is perfect for smaller investment amounts. You also get fractional shares when you invest, so you're always able to invest the entire amount you want. Not only that, your shares only belong to you and are never lent out. The broker is strictly regulated in Germany, as I already mentioned, and you can transfer your portfolio to another broker if you ever change your mind, a feature that's essential for long-term investors. Alright, now let's finally get to the new debit card that was launched, which, let's be honest, is the reason you're watching this video in the first place. The card enables you to directly use the cash balance on Trade Republic for payments, no matter if online or physically, either using the card itself or Google and Apple Pay on your smartphone. You can now also withdraw cash at an ATM directly from your Trade Republic account. What makes this unique is that whatever money is sitting on the account waiting to be spent is still earning the full 4% interest rate. Normally, this is not possible. You usually need to move money between two accounts and decide if you want to be able to spend it. That account usually earns zero interest, or have it sitting on a separate savings account earning a bit of interest, but which you can't access directly when making everyday payments. And just to give you an example, having an average monthly balance of 2,000 euro sitting on a zero interest spending account basically costs you €6.70 in interest per month you could have otherwise earned at a 4% rate. Luckily, we don't have that problem when using Trade Republic. Now getting back to the card, there are 3 different versions. First, the virtual card, which is free and has all of the same features as the other cards and can be used online or in-store for contactless payments using your phone via Google or Apple Pay. Then the classic card for a one-time fee of €5, which basically covers the shipping costs to you. And lastly, the fancy mirror card made out of metal, which I have right here, which costs €50 and has a nice weight to it. I really like how it looks and feels in the hand, it definitely stands out. Still, I want to disclose that I got this one for free as an affiliate. Otherwise, I think the classic card for €5 would have been enough for me. That's because I rarely pull out my card for payments and mostly use my phone instead. The only real advantage of the two physical cards is that they enable you to withdraw cash at an ATM Otherwise, everything is exactly the same. Still, I think having that added flexibility is definitely worth paying €5 once. I have to say, this is something I really appreciate about Trade Republic. Every single client, no matter if you're a new one or an older existing client, no matter if you have a lot of money or you're just starting small, everyone is treated the same and gets the full 4% interest rate on cash, the same 1% Saveback using any version of the card, and access to commission-free recurring investments. Nobody is trying to upsell you to a random paid premium tier or anything like that to get these benefits. Speaking of the 1% Saveback function, here's what it is and how it works. Saveback is basically cashback on your purchases, but the amount you accumulate every calendar month needs to be invested the following month. Let me explain. Whenever you use your card for payments of any type, Trade Republic gives you 1% of the amount you spent in the form of Saveback. The maximum Saveback you can accumulate every single month is capped at €15, which doesn't sound like a lot at first until you realize that translates to €1,500 of monthly payments using the card. I don't know about you, but I rarely spent more than that using a debit card. Also considering the fact that we're not able to pay for larger recurring expenses like rent using a card in the first place. Now, the Saveback you accumulate needs to be invested via commission-free monthly saving plan, aka recurring investment of at least €50. You can also have several smaller saving plans as long as their monthly total is €50 or more. In that case, you can pick which of the plans you want your money to be added to by clicking on the Saveback button under Benefits in the Cash tab. You can always sell whichever amount was invested, including the Saveback that was added, as soon as your commission-free savings plan is executed, in case you were not planning on having this money invested long term. In fact, if you're only interested in the extra cash, perhaps because you were only using Trade Republic to earn 4% interest on your uninvested funds, and now also to get 1% back on your expenses, an option could be to set up a savings plan for the X-Trackers Overnight Rate ETF, which reflects the Euro short-term rate, which is currently close to 4% per year. You can find this ETF using the ticker XEON on Trade Republic. You can sell these shares anytime as well, but in this case you're able to avoid the price swings you would otherwise have when investing in the stock market. Personally, I'm happy to just have this money added to a monthly saving plan going into my favorite ETF, the accumulating Vanguard FTSE World, which you can find via the ticker VWCE. Roundup is another card feature you can activate if you want. Once again, you can find it under Cash, Benefits, Roundup Payments. If you activate it, each payment you make with your card will be rounded up to the next euro. So for example, if you're spending €2.50 on a coffee, your payment will be automatically rounded up to €3. And that 50-cent difference will be deducted from your balance as roundup. This is with the 1x multiplier, which you can also increase if you want. For example, if you select 2x, then that 50-cent difference I just mentioned will be multiplied by 2, and €1 will be deducted instead as roundup. The roundup amount you accumulate this way will then be automatically invested each week into whichever ETF or stock you choose, once again commission-free. I'm not going to use this feature personally, since my wife and I already invest a few €1,000 on a monthly basis, but it could be an interesting option if you need some extra motivation to start investing regularly. Okay, so far I think all of that sounds pretty great, but you're probably wondering if there are any fees to be aware of when using the card. What about cash withdrawals using ATMs, for example? Luckily, there are 0 fees for withdrawing cash at ATMs using your card as long as you withdraw €100 or more at once. I tested this myself a few days ago, so I can confirm that there were no fees. If you withdraw less than that amount, a withdrawal costs €1. Not only that, this applies to other currencies as well globally. Trade Republic doesn't charge any withdrawal fees, no matter the currency, as long as the withdrawal amount is over €100. There is no limit on the number of ATM withdrawals each month either. The conditions always remain the exact same. The only thing you have is a cash withdrawal limit of €1,500 per day and €6,000 per week for security reasons. Now compare it to Revolut, where you can only withdraw up to €200 of cash at ATMs each month without fees using its free plan. After that, you pay a 2% fee, which is a lot. Speaking of paying or withdrawing money in other currencies, there are no currency exchange fees either. The money is simply converted using the exact rate set by Visa each day, and there is no markup or any other fee that's added by Trade Republic. I did a few tests comparing currency exchange rates between Visa's rates and what I paid on Revolut on a few different occasions. Sometimes Visa ends up being cheaper. For example, on March 19th, I could have saved 0.3% if I had paid using Trade Republic instead of Revolut for this $20 payment in US dollars. and other times Revolut ends up being slightly cheaper. Either way, so far, based on my testing, the differences are minimal and always significantly below the 1% Saveback. So in my opinion, it's worth using the Trade Republic card for payments in other currencies over Revolut. And on weekends, the Visa rates used by Trade Republic always end up being better than Revolut in my experience, since Revolut charges an extra 1% weekend exchange fee. Also, keep in mind that Revolut caps free currency conversions at 1,000 euros per month. After that, you pay an extra €1 fee. Meanwhile, there are no monthly conversion limits using Trade Republic, which is great. You simply have a very high card spending limit of 10,000 euros per day and 20,000 euros per week for security reasons. As far as I can tell, we're not able to adjust these limits ourselves yet. Hopefully this feature will be added later. Let's actually use that as a transition to talk about security in more detail. As you can see here, Trade Republic actually decided not to print the card number, expiration date and verification code on the card itself for safety reasons, so that you can safely pull it out when making payments without anyone seeing this sensitive information. When you want to make an online payment to a new merchant the first time, for example when you want to buy something with it for the first time using it in your Amazon account, you get a notification from the Trade Republic app to verify that payment. This is another important security feature and I'm glad it's there. You also get a notification right away whenever your card is used for payments of any sort. You can find all the card settings and details at the top right within the Trade Republic app, where you can also quickly freeze it, change your PIN, and activate or deactivate specific features like contactless or online payments. The last thing worth mentioning in this context is that your card is automatically locked if the wrong PIN is entered several times in a row, which once again is an important feature in case you were to lose it or if it gets stolen. If you made that mistake yourself, you can unlock it again within the app, where you can also change your PIN. Meanwhile, if you lost it, you can terminate it and order a new card. Alright, let's finish things off with my personal experience and what I consider to be the pros and cons of using the card so far. My wife and I have been using the card every single day for the past 3 weeks. I simply added it to Google Pay on our 2 phones, so that we're both able to use the same account for payments and to earn the 1% Saveback on each purchase. I like that there are no account fees and everything is clearly outlined. The money is secured by a 100,000 euro bank deposit guarantee while earning 4% interest per year. We now get 1% Saveback on up to 1,500 euros of expenses each month. There are no currency conversion fees and we can do an unlimited number of free cash withdrawals at ATMs, no matter where we are and no matter in which currency, as long as we withdraw 100 euros or more at once. Of course, there's still room for improvement here as well. Nothing is perfect. For example, I would like to be able to change the daily spending limit or to split my funds into a savings and a spending bucket, as long as both keep earning interest, of course. And Trade Republic's customer service can be a bit slow at times, which is clearly the result of them growing so quickly to over 4 million customers across 17 European countries in such a short amount of time. Their regional manager has, however, informed me that scaling and improving customer service is their top priority right now, so things should get better soon. Luckily, I've rarely needed to reach out to the support team myself, as I've had 0 issues over the past 3.5 years, and neither have any of my friends and family members who use Trade Republic to buy stocks and ETFs and to earn interest on their cash. Either way, because of all of its features and benefits, in my opinion, Trade Republic has managed to make this the best debit card that's currently available in Europe, which is why my wife and I will keep using it for our everyday expenses. They're planning to roll out the card in all of the 16 countries outside of Germany, starting in the 2nd week of April. So don't be upset if you didn't get yours yet. They simply sent it to me a bit earlier so that I could already test it out. If you'd like to check out Trade Republic for yourself and support the work that I put into this video, feel free to use my link in the description below. And don't forget to gently tap the like button and to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I'm also curious to know what you guys think about the new card. Are you looking forward to using it as well? Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful week, and until next time.